Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Martin, and I'm with Christella Garcia today. She will be competing in Paris in a few weeks. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you. How are you, Christella? How are you today?
I'm good. I just got done with one of my workouts, so have a little break now and excited to do this interview and just get ready for the rest of my day.
Yeah, so let's just start from the beginning. So, we just talked a little bit before. It's crazy how this is our first time meeting. So I like to get to know like how did you get involved in judo? So when did you begin your judo journey?
So I grew up with I have a lot of male cousins and siblings in my family, and I actually have a brother named Chris. And when we were younger, we would go and play WWE with all our boy cousins, and like we were like a tag team, and we would like beat everybody up. And then at one point, my mom told me that I couldn't play with the boys anymore. And so I'm originally from New Mexico, and I was going to a school for the blind, and they had a judo program. And I started training, and I just loved the freedom. When I was on the mat, I didn't have to worry about canes or whatever. The only obstacles were people that I needed to throw. So
Hmm.
that was really fun. And for coincidentally, for a super long time, I primarily trained with guys. So sorry, mom.
Wow, that's super cool. So it was basically like it's a family affair, really. It's how you.
Yeah. And then one thing that was also very interesting to me was there was another competitor who also has been involved in judo. His name is Winfred Haynes, and he is totally blind. So for me as a young blind kid, it was really cool to see this guy who wasn't he wasn't just kind of blind, he was blind blind. So to me that was really inspirational, and just to know that somebody with a disability and somebody who, because there's levels to this game as far as blindness. Some people
Mhm.
say it's a spectrum,
Yeah.
but I am all the way blind, and just have somebody who was an incredible athlete and doing all these awesome things as somebody that I could learn from and look up to was pretty cool.
Wow, that's like really it's really cool. Like you were, how old were you? Do you remember how old you were when you
I
were
was a 9-year little monster.
a 9 year old little monster? Yeah, that's like I think it's amazing. You were young, but old enough to realize, oh, I can do this or I can do the sport and it's really, really cool. Like I think it's like the great perfect age to get into the sport and yeah, it's really incredible. You had somebody that was also blind and also doing judo, so that's really, really great that you had someone to like almost like guide you or motivate you to get to where you are, to start off your journey, really. So,
Right.
oh, that's so cool. So you told me you just, finished training. So tell me about, describe what a typical training day is like for you.
So it kind of varies from day to day. I train at a couple of different places.
Mhm.
So for example, today I actually, and I sometimes don't do things in the correct order, but I kind of started out with some recovery. I go to a place called Whole Self, and they have stuff like cold plunge and the Normatec gear, and different PEMF,
Yeah.
and cryotherapy. So today I just did some compression, and then I went to a non-gi jiu-jitsu workout. That's kind of my happy place. Coach Liddy um, really likes me to perform well in my groundwork, and I just wanted to I want it to be a little bit more sharp, and so I kind of go, and it's really fun. And then I came back home and I'm doing this interview, and then in a little while I'll actually be heading out to a actual judo practice. I'm trained with Team Sacramento Judo, so one really cool aspect is that I have a my training partner, Katie Davis, who is also a blind judo athlete. And so I have my training partner, my best friend, and my teammate all in one.
Love that. I love that. So you are basically, you would say training twice a day?
Twice a day, yes. And then some days if I'm not doing the martial arts workouts, judo workouts. I work with a strength and conditioning coach, and he tries to end me,
Yeah.
honestly, but it's for my own
They love
good.
to do that, right? They want to like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's good thing he cannot read my mind because his feelings would be really hurt. But he's incredible. There's no one in the business like him,
Yeah.
and he's awesome. And then one other thing I've kind of added to my repertoire is so I fight in the plus 70 kilo division, and so I am a little bit smaller than my competition.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've really been trying to do is have a really strong cardio game and put myself in an uncomfortable position. So
Mhm.
I actually do a lot of pull workouts. I think that you should just be water when you're in the water, you should just be like on the Caribbean or a nice, California beach where the waves are just lapping at you and it's beautiful and maybe
Yeah.
you have a beverage in your hand. Instead, I am in a pool fighting for my life and it's really uncomfortable. It really gets my heart rate up and it's, makes me actually a little emotionally uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But I figure if I can survive that, then hopefully it'll come help me during when I'm on the big stage.
For sure. I think a lot of times, just from my own personal like athlete's journey, when you're uncomfortable, that's like when being uncomfortable is actually a good thing, especially when you're training. Doing things you don't like to do, it really helps you in the long run when you're on the big stage competing. So
Oh,
it's not
for
fun,
sure.
and it's not fun in the moment, but it does end up being, yeah, like usually a positive thing in the future. You
Oh,
mentioned you
absolutely.
do lots of recovery. Sorry for cutting you off, but what is your favorite type of recovery? So you mentioned like you go, there's cryotherapy, ice bath or ice plunge. So what is your favorite? And
Um,
what was your least favorite? That's my
well, definitely. I'm a California girl, so I don't like to be cold. That cold plunge is for real. I I think my guide dog probably giggles at me a little bit, but it's very I love the therapeutic benefits of it. But yeah, it's great for me, but it's a tough one as well.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps a lot. I really like, honestly, I love the Normatec compression. It's like
Hmm.
getting a nice squeezing hug on your hips or your legs or your arms. So I really enjoy that. And then I think something new that I've been trying a little bit is PEMF. And I actually originally saw I on TikTok, I follow this lady who has like a lot of horses and stuff like that, and they were using it on the horses and helping with, to kind of with to help with improving joint mobility and just kind of mo bone density and relaxation and stuff like that. So um, I thought it was pretty funny that this place offered it, so I tried it and it was actually very relaxing.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of old school. I'm a massage therapist, so anytime someone wants to just put their hands on me, that is the absolute best.
Massage. I also agree with you. I love massages. I don't get enough of them. They're kind
Well,
of,
I'm on the other end of the table most of the time, so a
yeah, I know
lot of
you're
the
on the
times
other
people
side.
try to bribe me with chocolate or different things, and so it's really nice to just go in and I lay on the table, and it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and just like really relax, close your eyes and just like do nothing
Hmm.
for 1 hour or whatever. Hopefully it's 1 hour. That's like the best.
Minimum 1 hour.
Yeah. So that was like actually going to lead into my next question because you've been in the sport for a long time. So let's talk about like longevity. You've been doing judo for, yeah, since you were 9, and you are
I'm 40.
definitely no, I'm not going to say your age, but I'm
I'm an
also
older athlete,
I'm an older
and
athlete
that's
too, so I know this. Yeah, what is your secret to success?
I think honestly at this point sometimes you really do have to listen to your body. And if something your body is like very upset with you, and you have to understand like mentally, yes, physically I probably can do this, but like what's going to happen in the long term. So just being mindful, having good nutrition, getting your rest, all the things that sound so superficial are actually very key. And so, I mean, I definitely pay a lot to go to the recovery place, but it is money well spent. And sometimes it's just nice because I'm doing all those things and I just get to mentally just zone out. You know, there's
Yeah.
times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna work on this and do this social media thing, and then they come and wake me up 30 minutes later. And so I think it's physically and emotionally letting your body recover is absolutely key
Yeah.
to prolonging your athletic career when you are a more seasoned athlete.
Yeah, listening to your body, I think, like you mentioned this, listening to your body, or listen, it's really important when you're older. And recovery, like I love how you said you recovered first this morning. Like, it's important to spend the extra time for recovery so you can perform at a high level. So, um, all right, so let's just back up and talk to me about your first experience in the Paralympics. So you were in the Paralympics 12 years ago. 2012 was your
Yes.
first experience. So it was in London. So tell me about this experience, and then tell me about your second experience, and yeah, what the two experiences were like for you.
Okay. So I think, my first games 12 years ago, it's kind of crazy. I see the memories, and I was leaving for London and getting ready to leave for London at this time. So um uh but I think, it was in some ways pretty naive and still growing as a judoka, learning myself and just maybe didn't have all the tools that I needed for success. And I think that I had to be there to get where I am now and learn some hard lessons. And I did not do well. I didn't win a single match, and it was devastating. It's you're on the biggest competitive stage slash tatami of your life, and to come up short is hard. And I remember coming back home, and my family, I had my boyfriend and my mom and some friends, and I had a friend pick me up from the airport, and I got was getting out of the vehicle, and they were clapping for me, and I just burst into tears because I felt like I just let everybody down. But just learning, like, that's your cockiness, they're proud of you. But I didn't want that pat on the head, and I didn't want that we're proud of you and we love you no matter what. I wanted them to love me more with the medal.
Yeah.
So going to Rio, I definitely prepared differently, and I actually I think judo, sometimes I think of it kind of like a relationship, and some parts I've been the toxic one, and so sometimes I've stepped away from the sport. And then so I got a call in 2015 from Coach Liddy. Well, first I got a text, and I don't know if you've gotten those texts from Coach Liddy, because he'll text you, and I was holding my phone and wondering what I did to be in trouble. To be perfectly honest, like, what did I do? I'm thinking, so I'm like holding my phone, and when he called me, he's like, "Hey, did you get my text?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And so he just kind of talked to me about, if I wanted to compete in the Pan American Championships and just see what that would look like. And, just told me that he wanted to kind of work with me a little bit more. And so that's, I think, I felt, I don't know, I've never won the lottery, but I kind of felt like I won the coaching lottery at that day because it was really cool. So then we just kept preparing, and I'll never forget this conversation that we had. He was, giving one of his famous Coach Liddy speeches, and he said, talking to the team, and he said, every athlete at this tournament believes they deserve to win a medal. And it's not time to just like, well, I'll do this, I'll do this. You better leave everything out on the mat because there is not another match. And you need to fight till Sotomate, and just um and just leave it out, leave it all out there. Just make sure that you don't have any regrets. And so and then just the way when every time he was speaking to me, he just had me believing in myself, even when I wasn't so sure. He was just always telling me, we're gonna go to Rio, and we're gonna shock the world.
Uh,
You're gonna go to Rio, and you're gonna shock the world. And So I now I think I need if I ever go to Vegas, I'd also like to take him because he's never been wrong about anything he's told me. So
Yeah,
and
so
my
you went to Rio and you got you're bronze medalist. So, would you say you shocked the world, or would you say you shocked yourself in this?
um well, I did get to beat the Brazilian for bronze,
Mhm.
and I can only say that one time slowly. But it was pretty surrealistic. I remember doing like a lot of mental imagery and just because again, like at some point, and you understand this as a judo athlete, like it's not that it's not easy, but at some point, like you know what you need to do for judo. You understand the workouts, and maybe they're tough and workouts are hard, but it's also fun. Like that's why we do this sport because we love it. We love just
Exactly.
all these
Yeah.
things that we do. And so, but the mental part is what can get you. And so I just did everything that I could mentally. And I can remember before I fought, coaching staff tell me you're going to win, and I was like, okay, and they're like, no, like we're not just saying good, like you're going to win. So I thought that was pretty funny, and just um, I had a while to wait, and you're hearing all the crowd, and you have to stay in this place where I always tell people that you have to stay ready, and that was a big part of what I did. I was able to I don't have to get ready if I stay ready.
Yeah.
And so what I remember being, I was fighting their Paralympic champion. They treat their Paralympians as Olympians are treated, and there was she is like their hero. There was
Mhm.
people in the crowd with her face on their t-shirts, and
Yeah.
I was fighting a Brazilian in Brazil,
Proud.
and
Yeah.
you know those crowds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. 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 Wow.
And
And you
so
beat her. You
yes.
it's always good, I think, sometimes being cheered against. I always feel like I get a little bit more like, I don't know, motivated or hungry to win when I'm being cheered against. That's just me. Maybe you too, because
Yeah,
you
no, 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 I do. And it was kind of cool. So like, and then you just have to do all these mental tricks. So, and in some ways, I kind of thought like, I am so the underdog. I absolutely have nothing to lose. And like it or not, like this whole country has to watch me compete on the biggest athletic tatami of my life. And this is let's do this. And I was so pumped. And then the crowd is just Brazil. And so I just pretended that my name was Brazil and they were actually cheering for me.
Mhm.
And then went out there and just it's a different animal. I am, like I said, a lot smaller than the my competition. So that's a challenge as far as, what I needed to do and how to move around. But I just trusted the process, and there was an opportunity where I felt like she underestimated me, and we're on the ground, and I can't say what I said in my head because, I use profanity, but basically, I knew that she had stopped fighting, but the referee had not called Mate. And so I was able to secure a pin. And I just remember holding on for dear life. And
Mhm.
that crowd was a little bit more quiet than when I came out.
Mhm.
But I think I mean, obviously, I'm not going to, deny that the winning wasn't incredible, but what was so humbling. Was just how like I literally just beat their girl, and you don't I didn't it's so surrealistic. And then I bowed to the crowd and they all were cheering for me, and that was the most humbling
I love it.
experience of my life.
Wow. And it's like so like overall, like the judo crowds are always so amazing. It doesn't matter if you just beat their hometown like hero and they're still cheering for you. And I think this is like so beautiful about our sport sometimes, like we just everyone the judo family loves the judo family, no matter what, it's so cool and sounds like a really, really nice experience.
Oh yes, yes.
Really, really beautiful experience. And yeah, so now you're going into Paris in a couple weeks. Well, next week actually. As a number 4 seed in your division. What are your expectations in Paris?
Well, it is a little unreal again to come in actually as a seated athlete. I've never had that, in my time as a Paralympian. So that is a little different for me. I think now I'm the one with the target on my back,
Mhm.
and I just really have to again think about what Coach Liddy said. All of these women want a medal just as badly as I do and believe they deserve it. So I just have to want it more than they do and just fight for it. And you have all these scenarios. I think about the judo tournament pretty much 90% of the day.
Mhm.
And I expect them to come for me and I expect to have battles, but I also expect that my training will carry me through and put me where I'm supposed to be, which is on the podium.
I hope to see you there. I'm looking forward to, yeah, to watch you. You are fighting, you're competing on September 7th. So you still have
Correct.
some time. But when, so yeah, when do you leave? When are you going to arrive in Paris?
So, well, really quickly, I always say, I just wanted to say that when my ultimate goal is to be able to poorly sing the national anthem, so that means I have to be at the top of the podium.
I hope to see this. And why do you say poorly?
It'll be someone I know the words, but so I will leave on August 30th, and yeah, and it's again all of this in some ways, people always say, well, this doesn't seem real, but to me, when I was in high school, I had to do this project and talk about, it was kind of like your bucket list. And one of my goals was to go to Paris and to be able to, I was actually wanted to travel to Nice and learn to work with some perfume makers. I create holistic products, and I'm not going to work with perfume makers, but I do get to go to Paris, and it does not seem real that like this place that I've always dreamed about is somewhere that I get to
Yeah,
go and compete.
yeah, and it's going to be an amazing experience. So have you ever been to Paris before? Is it going to be your first time there?
This will be my first time in Paris, and I really just cannot wait. I you know I think it's going to be really fun, and I love traveling. It's actually going to be one of our shorter trips as far as some of the places we've traveled to this year, so that's kind of cool. But then actually after the tournament, being able to have some time to spend and explore the country with my family is going to be really fun. But obviously, I have to get the job done first. So
Yeah,
first
so
things first.
first things first. First things is you need to stand on top of the podium and sing the anthem and then
That's
go explore Paris. So are you just gonna, are you gonna just explore Paris? Or are you gonna explore France? What are your plans for afterwards?
So look, I think it's hard as I just don't have a plan for afterwards. I don't want to sound, I really just I'm kind of laser focused on this tournament, and excuse the pun, but it's all I see.
Yeah, no,
And
but I actually think this is really like great. You're focused on what you need to do. And you know
all
what?
that stuff is going to be there. Paris is going to be there. Paris is going to be beautiful every day. But I have one day where I need to,
Focus on your
I give it everything. I worked all the, all the things that we do miss out on, all of that will, hopefully yeah, it comes to fruition, and I, get the job done on
Yeah,
September
I actually
7th.
got like goosebumps talking, like listening to you because like
You know those
I
feelings.
know the feeling, and it makes you want to like compete again because I think I told you I just like recently retired and like this feeling of preparing, preparation for competition, getting your mind ready, competing in general, like it's a feeling that you can't get anywhere else in the world. So I am, yeah, like I said, you give me goosebumps. Like I'm amped for you. I'm
Well, thank you. Thank you.
so okay, so you're focused on your day and that is what you really should be really what you should be doing at this point. And I love to hear this. Okay, so looking ahead. after, way after Paris, what are your goals in the future? Are you going to continue with judo? Are there other plans that you have for yourself? What are your plans for future Christella? Not the near future, but like we'll say like farther future.
Well, so this year I actually set 4 goals for myself, and I've completed 2 of them so far. So I decided that I wanted to launch my own business. I could create like holistic salves and body butters. And my brand is called Sensational, but it's spelled like sense of touch. And so I was able to launch that. Still working on some logistics, but it's up and running, and it also incorporates my massage. And then I got a new job at this really amazing spa. And so then my goal is obviously to be on the podium. And then my long-term goal is to be a massage therapist for the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
that's a little different
I didn't
and
expect that.
non-athletic
Oh,
goal.
cool. That's a great goal. I love that. So this is just so you're you launched a business. So is this only available in California or what is
No, so I'm working on getting it's just a lot of logistics.
yeah, of course.
I'm working on my Shopify. So I sell a muscle salve, a lot of, we getting tested and stuff. There's so many things we can't use, and then so many things like you're putting this bio-free or putting certain products, I'm sorry. You put certain products on your skin and they just don't do anything except for irritate your skin or cause
Yes.
problems. And
That's so
you understand as an athlete,
yeah.
there's so many things. So I was just like, well, let me just create something that I don't have to stress because I know the ingredients. So
Mhm.
that's where my idea, and it's called Muscle Melt.
Oh, wow. I love that
So
name.
yeah,
Cool. That's a nice name.
yeah. So and then so I'm trying to get my Shopify site together, and that will be the first product that I will be selling. So it'll be, available once I get that up, which would probably be another thing after Paris. Everything is after Paris now, it seems
Okay.
like, but
So anyone that's listening, did you hear it? Her product's going to be available. So let's all support your business. I love to support it. I is it only going to be available like to purchase in California or can you
yep,
purchase it?
it'll be Shopify. I think I'll be able to have it launched. I mean, as long as there's, a way to ship it.
Yeah.
It'll be, I mean, definitely, just, in the States. There's
Okay.
so
I was going
many
to ask if you
in
ship it to I live in Germany now. So that would be so cool. But
well, there might
maybe
be one that finds its way to you.
special. Or you know what? I can ship it to my parents' house in New York, and then I can pick it up at Christmas when I go visit.
That's a plan. See.
All right. So before we finish up the interview, last question for you. I would love to hear, advice from you. Any advice for the younger generation that, is coming up in the judo world or, just in general. You've been around in the sport for a long time, been involved in judo and involved in just, yeah, the Paralympics. So yeah, what is your advice for the younger ones, the younger generation?
I think my advice to anybody, especially blind athletes or any athlete, first of all, judo is an amazing sport. It's the only place where other sports, if you choke somebody, you get kicked off the court, out of the venue. In our sport, you get rewarded. So it's the best sport. But I think that you should really just want to want something so bad that you'll do anything that you can to achieve that goal.
I love that. And that is like you mentioned before, like you love judo, and I think when you love something, when it's like something you enjoy doing, it becomes more than just it's not like a job, it's like a
Oh
life,
yeah.
it's
Judo isn't a sport, it's a lifestyle.
yeah.
And you understand it. And you like the community, there's nothing like the judo community. Even the person that you just competed against when you're on the medal stand, you are all it's just you're giving back. You're proud of the, sometimes you root for the other
For
people in
your
other
training
countries.
sometime, you know, the sport is amazing. You also like train, you train with your opponents.
Hmm.
And then after you're fighting with your opponents, you stand up and you give them a big hug and you're like rooting for them. It's just like the community is amazing, and like I I love it, and I'm happy to be involved in it, and stay involved in the judo community my whole life, hopefully. And that's my
Well,
goal.
I just wanted to say two things. First of all, congratulations on your retirement. I don't feel like it's very sticky yet, but give yourself a
That's
break.
yeah, it's not. Thank you. I thank you for the congratulations. It hasn't sunk in, but I still want to compete. There's still this like hunger inside of me to like, I still can do it. But I think it's for the best. There's a time when it has to end.
Exactly, exactly. Here's the thing is you don't have to compete. Like there's judo is like you can always just go to a dojo anywhere and it's fun and it doesn't mean that it's great.
Yeah.
Um so I think that that is always one thing that I really did want to touch on is I'm very excited for this quad and the fact that there are different divisions for, the vision classes. As me competing as a J1, a totally blind athlete, I very much enjoy competing against my peers. And I know that there's a lot of work to be done as far as, when it comes to the J2. This is the first quad that it happened, but I think there was a big difference. And I'll be the first to admit that I was very apprehensive, and you just want to say, like, you can compete against everybody and do this. But um, I always say that I am proud of my blindness. So why wouldn't I want to compete against my peers? Judo is a sport where you can't just put on eye shades or do something to kind of put everybody on an equal playing field. So the fact that they've decided to change the divisions and and allow that to happen has made a huge difference. And I think that it shows. I think it's made the tournaments a lot stronger. And so very happy to. That's really what made me pull me back into it, was being able. I was going to step away too, but now that they had this, I couldn't let myself have the regret of saying I didn't try this. And so it's just been an amazing journey.
Wow, and I obviously, I'm sorry, I didn't know about this beforehand. So that's really a really cool thing. So they just started this for this quad, for the Paris quad, this for the divisions like this. They changed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And this is why you came back? This is the
It
reason?
is. It is. It is.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And do you think you're gonna stick around for El?
I think you and I can have some retirement parties together.
Okay.
It's just so hard because like I don't it's hard when I get asked like what's next, because I want to enjoy the now. And I know you're supposed to look ahead to the future and stuff like that, but I'm too laser focused on that tournament, so I can't tell you where my heart's going to be after September
Yeah,
7th.
exactly.
But
Focus on September 7th, and everyone's going to ask you this question because of course it's a home, it's in the USA, so everyone's going to keep asking this, but you don't have to answer it, just focus on you and focus on your day. And yeah, that's all you gotta do right now. You're only, days away, really, weeks, few weeks away from your day where you're going to stand on top of the podium. I believe in you.
thank you. Thank you. I like the way you say that.
So, Christella, really, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. We are rooting for you. Best of luck in Paris. And yeah, I'm so happy we got to meet, and so happy we got to talk today. So best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm cheering for
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.